Now, if you've been tasked with creating a worksheet to gather data in a company, say, from various departments and various people involved in those departments, your worksheet can get very messy if people aren't using precisely the same terminology for the same type of data that's being put in. Because when you come to analyze that data, you will have trouble locating all of it when you search for it, and you'll have trouble applying formulas and functions to that data if it's not complete. Imagine a salesperson called John, and people in some department are referring to him as Johnny. So when you search for John's sales figures, ends up that you miss half the figures because they've been allocated to Johnny. So as I said, it can get really messy. And the way to get around that is to create drop-down lists for your worksheet and data validation so that everyone is compelled to use the same terminology when they're inputting data. And that makes your life a whole lot easier. Now, creating drop-down lists is a very simple process, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Drop-down lists and data validation. So let's get on with it. Right, just to show you how quick and easy it is to create a drop-down list, pretend this is the worksheet that you've created that many people are going to be entering data into, and you want to make sure that the data is standardized throughout. So let's pretend we want to put a drop-down list here on division of the company. We click on the first square like that, and then we go to select the data tab at the top here, and then we go to data validation, drop down, data validation again. For this pop-up window are settings, input message and error message. At the moment we'll just deal with the settings side of it, and we're going to create a drop-down list. So from this allow tab we click drop-down arrow, and then you've got various options here. In this case we want a list of divisions of the company, so we'll click there. Now it says source. Where's your source going to come from? Now there's various ways you can do this, but the simplest way is just to type it in. So for instance, let's say there's a division called tech, separated by a comma, then a division called sport, separated by a comma, then there's a division called, let's say, admin, and those will be the source of your drop-down list. So we click OK, and then you'll notice a little arrow appears here. Now that arrow means there's a drop-down list. So if I click on there now, you'll see there's tech, sport and admin. So if I select tech, for instance, there it appears there. But let's say I'm not familiar with this particular worksheet, and I think I have to type in something, and I type in tech, but I use lowercase, and let's see what happens. Press enter. You see it gives me an error message because tech with the lowercase t doesn't match the source data that we typed in. So that means whatever anybody puts in the square, it has to comply with what you've decided are the parameters for that particular set of data. Now you'll notice that in the second line there's no drop-down list. You see there's a drop-down list. So I go to the second line, no drop-down list. So I've only put the drop-down list in that first cell. Now if you want to spread the drop-down list, there's a couple of ways of doing it. You can hover until you get that little cross and then just drag down. That copies the data validation and drop-down list all the way down, but it also copies any data in the cell. So you'd have to just delete that, and then you can move on, and you'll have your drop-down list all the way down. Now another way of populating more cells in the column with your drop-down menu and data validation is to click on the cell. You'll see there's nothing in these other cells, so click on that cell. That's the only one that's got the drop-down list in it. You can see by that arrow. So now if I go Control C, and then I just drag down as far as I think I need, and then I right click, paste special, and then I select validation from this list here, and then I say OK. Now I press enter. Now if I click on any one of these that I'd selected, you can see the drop down arrow is there, and I can get that. Now I want to go a step further this time. Just want to show you if I want to edit this now. I've got those 3 divisions, but let's say it changes and a new division comes about. The only way I can add that division now is to go back to data validation, go back to my source. I've got to put a comma there to separate. Then I can add another division, say HR. Here it is, say OK. Now when I go to the drop down list, there it is, HR's in there. If I just select all the cells that I had there, and I want to edit this now and get rid of that drop down and data validation that I've got there, I just click there, go back to data validation. It's just telling me that I've selected more cells than have been affected by data validation. That doesn't matter, so I'll just say yes. Now to get rid of the data validation, all I have to do is say clear all and OK, and there we go, it's all gone. Now I'm going to show you another way that you can create a drop down list that might be a little bit easier and a little bit more dynamic than this first way of doing it. So we select our first cell like that. So first of all we go to data validation again, we select list, and this time instead of typing everything in source, I could have another template with all my source data that I want to appear in my drop down list. So all I have to do now is select those, and then I just say OK, and then my drop down list will be populated with all those names of those people in the company. And again, similarly, you'll see there's nothing here, so I'd have to populate it down again like I did a moment ago. Now in this case, if I want to change anything or add to it, I can go back to my source template and make a change there. So if I wanted to add another person, for instance, let's say Ed, and then I go to my input sheet and my drop down menu. Now you'll notice that Ed is not there, and the reason for that is you can't add something to the bottom of the list. But if I went back here now to my source, and instead of putting Ed there, there's a couple of ways I can do this now. I could drag Ed up, and to drag Ed up, all I have to do is go select Ed, shift, then you'll see the 4 arrows, then I can drag him up 1. Now Ed's not at the bottom of the list, so now if we go back there and we drop down, there's Ed in the list. So that's unfortunate that you can't just add to the bottom, but there are ways around it. You can move Ed up into the middle. Another simple way of getting Ed off the bottom of the list is still on the data tab. We could go to sort from A to Z or Z to A, and that would most likely move Ed off the bottom. Sometimes if Ed's name was Zeb or something, then that wouldn't happen, but then you could sort in the reverse order. But let's do it this way first, and you'll see Ed will move up. There he goes, he's moved up into alphabetical order. So that's a quick way of moving Ed up. So you can either shift drag or just resort and keep your list alphabetical. Now to just get a little bit more fancy, remember I showed you in the beginning, when we do data validation, and this is an easy way to edit, you don't have to start again, you can just add on to this drop down list or data validation. But now I've got it all set up there. Now I want to put an input message in, because some people might not understand what I mean by person. So you could put a title in and a message, or just a title, or just a message. I think the message on its own is probably better, because then you're not putting in so much typing, and just say, so now it says select employee name from the list, which is quite clear what you have to do. You hit your drop down and then you select a name. But now watch, you see it hasn't edited all the way down, so I've got to then re-drag this down and press enter. Now as I move down, you'll see it's been added to the list. So if you edit anything on your validation, you have to then repopulate it all the way down, either by dragging that little cross down, or as I showed you, you can copy and special paste it down. Now let's see what happens if I make a mistake and I don't select from there, and I just type in, say, John, press enter. I get this error message. Now I can customize this error message. This one says the value you have entered is not valid. A user has restricted values that can be entered into this cell. So let's cancel that. Go back to data validation. Now I'm going to edit again. This time I'm going on to error message. So we did settings, input data, now error message. Now there's a couple of things you can do here. You can choose the style of your message. You can have this red cross, which is pretty obvious, or you can have a warning, which is this triangle, or you can have information. But I think let's stay with warning. That looks quite nice. We can put a title in if we want to, or we can just type in an error message. You can say list. Please select a name from the drop down list. Now again, it'll only be on my first one, so I'm going to type in John again to make the same mistake. Now it's going to say, there's my error message, there's my yellow triangle that I selected. Please select a name from the drop down list. So then if I go there and I select Ed, everybody's happy. But you'll notice if I now type John in the second line, I get back to the generic error message. So if I want my error message copied into all those cells, I've got to start all over again, drop down with the arrow. Okay, then just to play around with some of these others, you don't always have to have a drop down message. You could say, for instance, the date. You can still put data validation in there. So we go to data validation. That's on error message. So go back to settings. Now instead of putting any value, we can click on there and here's a whole lot of options. And what do you know, there's date. So let's click on date. And then it might be that you want to make sure people don't put a date outside the current year or something like that. So you'll select the data is between, the start date will be the 1st of January 2023 and the end date will be the 31st of the 12th 2023, and we say OK. And that'll only be valid on this square, and I'll have to populate it all the way down as I did earlier, so we can just do that quickly. Just enter. Okay, so now let's try putting in a correct date first. So we'll put in the 2nd of January 2023. All fine. Now let's put in the 2nd of January 2022. And there's our error message. Then we can customize that error message again like we did the others. And then here, this one I'll do a financial amount. You can, if you want to, put data validation there, and if you know, you could put, say, a decimal between two certain values like 0 and 50,000 if those are well within what a particular salesman can sell in a month or a year or whatever. On top of that, you can format the cells for currency, for instance, the dollar with 2 decimal points. Say OK. So now I could go through on the 2nd of January, the division, I'll just select that, is the tech department, the person, I'll select the employee will be Anne, and the status will be an order, and the amount will be 5,000. There we go. It's turned it into a dollar currency amount because I formatted that cell. But let's see what happens if I put the wrong amount in. So I'll just delete that. Let's say I put in 51,000. Enter. Error message, because I set my parameters between 0 and 50,000. Right, so that all works very well, and that's just a very quick basic run through on how to use drop-down menus and how to use data validation so that you keep your spreadsheet nice and neat, no confusion, so when you come to analyze the spreadsheet you haven't got to do a whole lot of corrections before you can analyze it. Now, if you found this useful, please like and share this video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. And if you have any comments or questions, we'd love to hear from you. Just scroll right down to the bottom and you'll find the comment section there. Thank you very much for watching.